The stars had always called to humanity. For thousands of years, people looked up at the night sky and wondered what was out there. Now, finally, they knew. Admiral stood on the bridge of the flagship Sol's Fury and watched the space station grow larger through the viewing window. Nexus 7, they called it, a massive structure floating in the darkness between stars. Thousands of alien ships moved around it like fish around a reef. This was the center of galactic trade. This was where humanity would introduce itself to the universe. 12 ships, that was all Earth had sent. 12 ships carrying humanity's hopes for peaceful contact with alien life. Admiral had spent 30 years in the military. He had fought in 3 wars on Earth, but nothing had prepared him for this moment. "Sir, the station is hailing us," said Ensign from her communications post. She was young, barely 25, but she had learned 6 alien languages in preparation for this mission. "They want to know our intentions." "Tell them we come in peace," Admiral said. "Tell them we seek friendship and trade." Captain's voice came through the radio from the battleship Indomitable. "Admiral, I'm seeing a lot of weapons pointed at us. These aliens don't look friendly." "Stay calm, Captain. Keep shields down. We don't want to look threatening." The human fleet moved slowly toward the station. Around them, alien ships of every shape and size watched with curiosity. Some were beautiful, with smooth curves and glowing engines. Others were ugly, covered in spikes and weapons. All of them were larger than the human vessels. Admiral took a shuttle to the station with a small team. Doctor came as the science advisor. Lieutenant Minu came as security. Ensign came as translator. The inside of Nexus 7 was overwhelming. Thousands of aliens walked through massive hallways. Some had 4 legs, some had wings, some floated in the air. The smells were strange. The sounds were stranger, but Admiral kept his face calm. They were led to a meeting room where Ambassador waited. She was a species that looked almost human but with pale blue skin and large black eyes. She smiled when she saw them, but the smile did not reach her eyes. "Welcome, humans," said. Her voice was smooth like silk. "We have watched your species for some time. You are very interesting." "Thank you for meeting with us," Admiral replied. "Earth wishes to establish peaceful relations with the Galactic Coalition." Laughed softly. "Peaceful relations, how sweet." She pressed a button and a hologram appeared showing Earth. "Your planet is rich in resources. Your people are strong and healthy. You would make excellent workers." Admiral felt his stomach tighten. "Workers." "All young species must be protected," explained. "This is the way of the galaxy. You will surrender your ships and your weapons. Your planet will become a protected territory of the Empire. Your people will serve us, and in return, we will keep you safe." The room was silent. Doctor looked horrified. Lieutenant Minu's hand moved toward his weapon. Admiral took a deep breath. "Ambassador, I think there has been a misunderstanding. We did not come here to surrender. We came here to meet you as equals." Smile faded. "Equals? You are primitives. You only discovered space travel 100 years ago. We have ruled the stars for 50,000 years. You are not our equals. You are our property." "No," Admiral said simply, "we are not." The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Stared at the human Admiral as if seeing him for the first time. "You refuse?" she asked, her voice cold. "I refuse. Earth will never surrender. We will never be slaves. We offer friendship and trade. If you do not want these things, we will leave in peace. But we will not kneel." Stood up slowly. Her black eyes were hard and angry. "You do not understand what you have done. No species has ever refused the coalition. You have just sentenced your entire race to death." "Then we will die free," Admiral said. He stood up as well. "Good day, Ambassador." The human team walked out of the meeting room. Admiral's heart was pounding, but he did not show fear. They made it back to the shuttle and flew toward the Sol's Fury as fast as they could. "Admiral," Ensign said with fear in her voice, "I'm detecting a massive fleet approaching. over 300 ships. Admiral closed his eyes for a moment. He had hoped for more time. He had hoped the aliens would let them leave. But deep down, he had known this might happen. All ships, this is Admiral, raise shields, power weapon, form defensive formation. Captain's voice came back immediately. Admiral, there are 300 of them and 12 of us. I can count, Captain. Are you afraid? There was a pause, then laughed. No, sir, just wanted to make sure you knew. The coalition fleet arrived like a storm. 300 warships from 5 different species, all pointing their weapons at the tiny human fleet. In the center flew the command ship, a massive vessel covered in golden armor. High Commander stood on its bridge. Human vessels, his voice boomed across all frequencies. You have one chance. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Resist and you will suffer before you die. Admiral looked around his bridge. He saw fear in some faces, but he also saw determination. These were humans. They had survived ice ages and plagues and world wars. They had climbed from caves to the stars. They would not bow to anyone. High Commander, Admiral replied calmly, this is Admiral of Earth's United Fleet. We decline your offer. If you fire on us, we will fire back. And I promise you this, you will not enjoy what happens next. Laughed, foolish primitives. You have no idea what you face. Neither do you, Admiral said quietly. Then he turned to Lieutenant Minu. Target their command ship. On my signal, hit them with everything we have. The galaxy watched through countless sensors and cameras. Everyone expected a quick execution. A small primitive fleet destroyed in seconds. A lesson to any who would defy the coalition. They had no idea that they were about to learn a very different lesson. A lesson about what happens when you threaten humanity. A lesson about why Earth had survived when so many species had not. A lesson about why humans should never be underestimated. Admiral raised his hand. The bridge was silent. Every eye was on him. Fire! The first human shots flew through space like angry thunder. Massive kinetic rounds, each one the size of a small car, traveling at incredible speed. They hit High Commander's flagship before anyone could react. The golden armor cracked. Fire erupted from the holes. Screamed in rage, destroy them all. 100 coalition ships fired at the same moment. Beams of energy cut through the darkness. Missiles flew in swarms, enough firepower to destroy a small moon, all aimed at 12 tiny human ships. But the humans were not there anymore. The coalition tactical computers had calculated exactly where the human ships would be. They had predicted their movements using mathematical formulas that had worked for 50,000 years. Every species moved the same way. Every species was predictable. Humans were not every species. Captain pushed her ship, the Indomitable, into a spin that should have been impossible. The engine screamed. The hull groaned. Her crew was pressed into their seats by the force, but they survived. The enemy fire passed harmlessly by them. What are they doing? Stared at his screen in disbelief. How are they moving like that? Doctor watched the battle from her science station on Sol's Fury. She understood what was happening. The coalition relied on computers to fight their battles. The computers made all the decisions. The computers predicted all the movements. But human pilots did not follow computer logic. They followed instinct. They made decisions based on feeling and experience, and something the aliens could not understand. Humans called it intuition, the ability to make the right choice without knowing why. They can't predict us, Doctor said to Ensign. Their computers don't understand chaos. They don't understand creativity. Is that why we're still alive? Asked, her hands shaking as she worked the communication controls. That's why we're winning, replied. The human ships scattered like birds escaping a predator, but these birds had teeth. Lieutenant Minu coordinated the counterattack from his tactical station. All ships target their bridge sections. Don't waste ammunition on armor. Hit them where they're weak. Human weapons were not elegant. They were not beautiful like the alien energy beams. They were ugly and brutal and terrifying. Fired metal slugs at incredible velocities. The slugs punched through alien shields like they were not there. Alien shields were designed to stop energy weapons. No one used physical weapons anymore. No one except humans. A coalition cruiser exploded as a round tore through its reactor, then another, then another. Missiles followed the fire, not the smart, careful missiles the aliens used. These were human missiles. They carried nuclear warheads. They did not try to be precise. They did not need to be. They simply destroyed everything around them. Captain pushed the Indomitable directly at a group of enemy destroyers. Her crew thought she was crazy. Maybe she was. "Captain, what are you doing?" her first officer shouted. "Getting close," replied with a wild smile. "They can't use their big guns if we're too close. They'll hit their own ships." She was right. The destroyers tried to fire, but the Indomitable was already among them. Too close for missiles. Too close for the main cannons. The alien ships hesitated, confused by tactics they had never seen before. Did not hesitate. Fire everything, all directions, now. The Indomitable unleashed hell. Missiles, even the small defense guns. At this range, every shot hit something. 3 destroyers died in seconds. A 4th tried to run and crashed into its ally. Across the battlefield, similar stories played out. Human ships dove into the enemy formation, spreading chaos. Coalition commanders shouted orders, but their fleets were not built for this kind of fight. They were built for organized, predictable battles, not this madness. Admiral watched from the Soul's Fury. His ship had taken damage. One engine was offline. The port side was on fire, but they were still fighting. "Status report," he demanded. "We've destroyed 47 enemy ships," Lieutenant Minu reported. "We've lost none." 47 ships. 12 human vessels had destroyed 47 coalition warships in less than 20 minutes. Admiral almost smiled. High Commander could not believe what he was seeing. His fleet was dying around him. His mighty armada, the pride of the coalition, was being torn apart by primitives, by creatures who had only left their planet a century ago. "How," he whispered, "how is this possible?" His tactical officer had no answer. The computers had no answer. There was no answer. Only the terrible truth: they had made a horrible mistake. "All ships retreat," screamed. "Fall back, fall back." The coalition fleet broke. Ships turned and ran in every direction. The organized formation dissolved into panic. Commanders abandoned their posts. Crews fled to escape pods. The mighty fleet that had come to execute humanity was running away like frightened animals. Admiral watched them go. His finger hovered over the pursuit button. It would be easy to chase them, easy to destroy more ships, easy to take revenge for their threats and their arrogance. But that was not why humanity had come to the stars. "All ships hold position," he ordered. "Do not pursue, let them run." "Sir," Captain's voice was surprised, "we could finish them." "We could, but we won't. We came here for peace, Captain. We defended ourselves, that's enough." Admiral opened a channel to all frequencies. Every ship in the area would hear this. Every station would record it. The entire galaxy would know. "This is Admiral of Earth's United Fleet. We came to this place seeking friendship. We offered peace. We were answered with threats and violence. Today we defended ourselves, but we are not conquerors. We are not murderers. We will not chase your fleeing ships. We will not attack your stations or your planets." He paused, letting his words sink in. "But hear this clearly. If you raise your hand against Earth, we will take that hand from you. If you threaten our people, we will answer. We do not want war, but we are not afraid of it. We are humanity, and we will never surrender." He closed the channel. The bridge was silent except for the crackling of small fires and the groaning of damaged systems. Ensign spoke first. Sir, I'm receiving messages from dozens of alien species. They want to know who we are. They want to know how we did this. What should I tell them? She asked. Admiral sat back in his chair. He was tired. He was wounded. His ship was barely holding together, but they had survived. They had done the impossible. Tell them the truth, he said. Tell them we're humans. Tell them we just wanted to be friends. And tell them that if anyone wants war instead, they should look at this battlefield and think very carefully about their choice. Outside, the wreckage of 47 coalition warships drifted through space, a message to the galaxy, a warning and a promise. Humanity had arrived, and they would not be ignored. The news of the Battle of Nexus 7 spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Every species heard the story. 12 human ships against 300 coalition warships. The primitives had won. The unthinkable had happened. On 1,000 planets, beings whispered to each other. Some were afraid. This new species was dangerous. They had weapons and tactics that no one had seen before. What would they do next? Would they conquer? Would they destroy? Others felt something different. Hope. For 50,000 years, the coalition had ruled with an iron fist. Species that did not obey were crushed. Planets that resisted were burned. No one had ever fought back and won. Until now. On Earth, Admiral stood before the United Council. Leaders from every nation watched him on screens around the world. His uniform was still dirty from battle. He had not slept in 2 days, but his voice was strong. We hurt them, he said, but we did not defeat them. The coalition has thousands of ships, millions of soldiers. They will come back. They will come back with everything they have, and they will try to destroy us. The room was silent. Fear filled the air like smoke. How long do we have? The American president asked. Our intelligence suggests 6 months, maybe less. 6 months. 6 months to prepare for an attack that could end humanity. 6 months to build a fleet large enough to face the galaxy. It's impossible, the Chinese leader said. We cannot build enough ships in 6 months. Then we will have to be creative, Admiral replied. We cannot match their numbers, so we must match their numbers with something else. Doctor stepped forward. She had spent the journey home studying the captured coalition technology. What she found had surprised her. The coalition has not changed their weapons or shields in 10,000 years, she explained. They became so powerful that no one challenged them, so they stopped improving. They stopped learning. She put images on the screen. Coalition weapons next to human weapons. Their energy beams are powerful but slow, are faster and cannot be blocked by their shields. Their missiles are smart but predictable. Our missiles are dumb but numerous. They rely on computers for everything. We rely on our people. Doctor looked at the assembled leaders. They have quantity, we have quality, they have tradition, we have innovation. If we use our strengths wisely, we can win. The next 6 months changed Earth forever. Every factory that could be converted to military production was converted. Car factories started building tanks. Electronics companies started building targeting systems. Shipyards worked around the clock. New warships launched every week. Captains supervised the construction personally. She walked through the shipyards every day, talking to workers, solving problems. The workers loved her. She was a hero now. The woman who had danced through enemy fire at Nexus 7. These ships are different, she told her crew. Faster, stronger, more guns. The coalition won't know what hit them. Sergeant trained the ground forces. He was a hard man with a face and cold eyes. He had fought in wars on 3 continents. Now he would train humanity to fight aliens. They have never faced infantry, he told his soldiers. They fight with robots and drones. They don't understand close combat. They don't understand the will to fight. We will teach them. His soldiers trained in simulated alien environments. They learned to fight in low gravity. They learned to fight in toxic atmospheres. They learned to fight when everything seemed hopeless. "The aliens think humans are weak," said during one training session. "They think we are soft because we have short lives and fragile bodies. They don't understand what those short lives have taught us." A young soldier raised his hand. "What have they taught us, sir?" Smiled grimly. "They taught us to fight for every moment, every breath, every heartbeat. We don't live long enough to be afraid of death. We live long enough to look death in the eye and spit in its face." Meanwhile, Ensign worked with intelligence teams to intercept coalition communications. She listened to alien messages day and night. What she heard chilled her blood. General of the Dominion was building a fleet, not 300 ships, 2,000 ships. They called it the Extinction Fleet. Its mission was simple: travel to Earth and destroy every human being alive. "They're not coming to conquer us," reported to Admiral. "They're coming to kill us all, every man, every woman, every child." Admiral received the news calmly. He had expected something like this. "Then we must make sure they fail," he said simply. Lieutenant Minu developed new tactics based on the Battle of Nexus 7. He studied every moment of the fight. He learned what worked and what almost failed. "We need to be faster," he told his team. "More aggressive. The aliens expect us to defend. They expect us to hide behind our planet. We won't do that. We'll meet them in open space. We'll attack before they're ready." "That's insane," one officer said. "We'll be outnumbered 10 to 1. "We were outnumbered 25 to 1 at Nexus 7, Minu reminded him. "And we won. Numbers don't matter if they can't use them properly." As the months passed, humanity transformed. Old enemies became allies. Countries that had fought each other for centuries now worked side by side. The petty arguments of the past seemed ridiculous when extinction was coming. Doctor made breakthrough after breakthrough. She improved the range by 30%. She developed new armor that could resist alien weapons longer. She created an EMP device that could disable alien shields. "This could change everything," she told Admiral. "Without shields, their ships are vulnerable. One shot and we can strip away their protection." Admiral nodded slowly. "Can you build enough devices for the whole fleet?" "If we have 2 more months." "You have one." Doctor did not argue. She simply worked harder, slept less, pushed herself and her team to the breaking point. On the last day of the 6th month, Admiral inspected the fleet. 200 warships floated in formation around Earth. They were beautiful and terrible, bristling with weapons, crewed by the best humanity had to offer. Captain stood beside him. "Do you think it's enough?" "It has to be," Admiral replied. That night, Ensign detected the Extinction Fleet entering sensor range. 2,000 ships, blotting out the stars. The largest military force ever assembled to destroy a single planet. Admiral broadcast a message to all humanity. "They are coming. They want to kill our children, burn our cities, end our story, but they have forgotten something important. We are not animals waiting for slaughter. We are humans. We have survived ice ages and plagues and our own worst nature. We will survive this too." He paused. "Today we fight for our existence. Today we show the galaxy what we are made of. Today every ship, every soldier, every citizen of Earth becomes a warrior. We will not go quietly. We will not surrender. We will fight until our last breath. And if we must die, we will die on our feet." Across the planet, humanity listened and prepared for the storm. The Extinction Fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system like a swarm of locusts. 2,000 ships from 12 species, all united in one purpose: the complete destruction of humanity. General stood on the bridge of his flagship, the World Ender, and smiled at the view. "Look at them," he said to his officers. 200 ships. They actually think they can stop us." The human fleet waited near Mars. Admiral had chosen this location carefully, far enough from Earth to give civilians time to evacuate if the battle went badly, close enough to use Mars as cover if needed. Captain sat in the command chair of the Indomitable. Her ship had been repaired and upgraded since Nexus 7. New weapons, new engines, new armor. She ran her hand along the console with affection. "Are you ready, old friend?" she whispered to her ship. Lieutenant Minu checked his tactical display one more time. Every ship was in position. Every weapon was ready. The plan was simple: hit them hard, hit them fast, and never stop moving. Admiral Ensign reported, "General is broadcasting." Admiral nodded, "Let's hear it." His voice filled the bridge. "Humans, you have caused the Coalition much embarrassment. The Battle of Nexus 7 was a humiliation that cannot be forgiven. But I want you to know something. I am not angry. I am grateful. You have given me the chance to do something glorious." His voice grew cold. "When I am finished here, there will be no human left alive, no city standing, no record of your existence. Your planet will be glass and ash. Future species will learn about you only as a warning. This is what happens when you defy the Coalition." Admiral turned off the broadcast. He had heard enough. "All ships," he said calmly, "advance." General's smile faded when he saw the human fleet moving toward him. Not retreating, not hiding, attacking. "What are they doing?" he demanded. His tactical officer had no answer. Every calculation, every prediction said the humans should run. They were outnumbered 10-1. Attacking was suicide. But humans did not follow calculations. The two fleets met in the darkness between Mars and Earth, and hell was born. Admiral gave the order everyone was waiting for. "Doctor, activate the EMP." On every human ship, Doctor's devices powered up. They released a wave of electromagnetic energy that spread across the battlefield like an invisible storm. Coalition ships shuddered. Their shields flickered, then died. "What happened?" General screamed. "Where are our shields?" "They're gone, sir," his officer replied with terror in his voice. "All of them fleet-wide." Without shields, Coalition ships were naked. Their armor, designed to work with shields, was suddenly inadequate, and the humans knew it. "All ships fire," Admiral commanded. 200 human ships opened fire at once. Sang. Missiles flew. Nuclear warheads detonated against unprotected hulls. In the first 30 seconds, 100 Coalition ships died. General watched in horror as his fleet began to burn. This was not possible. This could not be happening. They had 2,000 ships. They were the greatest military force in the galaxy. "Return fire," he ordered. "Destroy them." Coalition weapons found their targets. Human ships took damage. Some exploded. But the human fleet did not stop. They did not slow down. They flew directly into the enemy formation, guns blazing. Captain led the charge. Her Indomitable was everywhere at once. She destroyed 3 cruisers in one pass, then 4 more. Her ship took hit after hit, but she kept fighting. "Captain, we've lost forward shields," her first officer reported. "Then we'll use the armor." "The armor is failing." "Then we'll use our anger," pushed her ship faster. "Keep firing, don't stop." Sergeant led boarding parties onto enemy ships. Human soldiers in heavy armor breached Coalition hulls and fought their way inside. The aliens had never seen anything like it. One Coalition officer fired his energy pistol at. The shot burned through his shoulder. Did not stop. He grabbed the alien with his good arm and threw him into a wall. "We don't die that easily," he growled. His soldiers cleared ship after ship. Engine rooms, bridges, weapons bays, they took no prisoners. There was no time for mercy. Doctor watched the battle data from her station. The EMP had worked better than she hoped, but it was not enough. There were too many enemy ships. For every one they destroyed, 10 more took its place. "Admiral," she reported, "we're losing ships. The math isn't working." Admiral nodded. He had known this might happen. He had prepared for it. "All ships, execute formation Omega." Formation Omega was desperate, it was crazy, it was purely human. The human ships stopped fighting individually. They formed into tight groups of 5. Each group chose a target and flew directly at it, not shooting, just flying, closer and closer. General watched with confusion. What are they doing now? Then he understood, and his blood went cold. The human ships were going to ram. Evasive action, he screamed. All ships evasive action. Too late. The first group hit a coalition battleship at full speed. The explosion destroyed both ships, and 3 more nearby. Captain's voice came over the radio. All crews, listen to me. I know what we're being asked to do. I know many of us won't survive, but if we don't stop them here, they will reach Earth. They will kill everyone we love. Her voice cracked slightly. I'm not ready to die, but I'm ready to fight for our families, for our world, for every human who ever lived or ever will live. Today we become immortal. One by one, human ships launched themselves at the enemy. Some hit their targets. Some were destroyed before they could, but every impact took enemy ships with it. The coalition formation began to collapse. General's flagship took a hit from the Soul's fury. Admiral himself had fired the shot. The World Ender's engines failed. The great ship began to drift. This cannot be happening, whispered. We had 2,000 ships. Now they had less than 800, and the number was falling fast. Lieutenant Minu saw the enemy fleet breaking. Ships were turning away, running. The extinction fleet, the most powerful force ever assembled, was retreating. Admiral, they're running. Admiral gave one final order. Don't let them escape. Every ship that runs today will come back tomorrow. End this. The human fleet, battered and bleeding, gave chase. They hunted down fleeing ships. They destroyed escape pods. They showed the same mercy the coalition had planned to show Earth. None. When it was over, the extinction fleet no longer existed. 2,000 ships reduced to scattered wreckage. General's flagship was captured. The general himself was dragged from his bridge in chains. They brought him before Admiral. The human admiral was wounded. His uniform was burned. His face was covered in blood, but he stood straight. You came to exterminate us, Admiral said quietly. You came to murder our children, to burn our world. He leaned close to his face. Look around you. Look at what remains of your fleet. Remember this moment. Remember the smell of your burning ships. And when you return to your masters, tell them what happened here today. Admiral's eyes were cold as death. Tell them that humanity does not forgive. Tell them that humanity does not forget. Tell them that if anyone else comes for our world, they will meet the same fate. He turned away. Take him to the brig. We're going home. Outside the viewport, the wreckage of 2,000 ships drifted through space, a monument to those who had underestimated humanity, and a warning to anyone who might make the same mistake. The galaxy held its breath. News of the extinction fleet's destruction spread faster than light. Every species heard the numbers. 2,000 coalition ships, destroyed, completely, by a species that had only left their planet 100 years ago. Elder of the Council sat alone in his chamber, staring at the report. He was old, even by standards. He had seen empires rise and fall. He had watched the coalition crush countless rebellions. He had believed, truly believed, that nothing could challenge their power. He had been wrong. What have we awakened? He whispered to the empty room. Across the galaxy, cracks appeared in the coalition's iron grip. Species that had been silent for thousands of years began to speak. Worlds that had accepted slavery began to dream of freedom. The impossible had happened. Someone had fought back and won. Ambassador requested an emergency meeting with the coalition leadership. Her pale blue face was tight with fear. We must destroy them now, she argued. Before they grow stronger, send everything we have, every ship, every soldier. We sent 2,000 ships, Elder replied tiredly. They destroyed 2,000 ships. How many more should we sacrifice? However many it takes. But other leaders shook their heads. The numbers were simple. The coalition had perhaps 10,000 warships spread across 1,000,000 worlds. If they gathered everything for another attack on Earth, they would leave countless systems undefended, systems that were already whispering about rebellion. And even if they sent 10,000 ships, what guarantee did they have of victory? The humans had already proven they could not be measured by normal standards. There is another option, Elder said slowly. We could make peace. Looked at him as if he had gone insane. Peace. With those animals, they killed our people. They destroyed our fleet. They defended themselves, corrected. We attacked first. We threatened their extinction. They survived. He paused. Perhaps it is time to accept that the galaxy has changed. The debate lasted for weeks. Meanwhile, something unexpected happened. Smaller species, those who had suffered under coalition rule, began sending messages to Earth. Careful messages. Secret messages. We have watched what you did. We want to be free. Will you help us? Admiral read these messages with a heavy heart. Humanity had fought for survival, not conquest. They had not wanted to become liberators or rulers, but now countless beings were looking to them for hope. He called a meeting of Earth's leaders. The question was simple. What kind of species did humanity want to be? We could ignore them, one leader suggested. Focus on our own defense. Let the galaxy sort itself out. We could become conquerors, another said. Take over the coalition's territory, rule in their place. Doctor spoke quietly. Or we could do something the galaxy has never seen. We could offer protection without demanding submission, help without requiring payment, freedom as a gift, not a trade. That's naive, a military commander scoffed. The galaxy doesn't work that way. Maybe it should, Captain replied. Maybe that's why we're here, not to become the new tyrants, but to show that there's another way. Admiral listened to all the arguments. Then he made his decision. When Ambassador arrived on Earth, she expected to negotiate terms of surrender. Instead, she found something confusing. The humans did not want coalition territory. They did not want tribute or slaves or resources. They wanted something simpler and far more dangerous. We propose the following, Admiral told her. The coalition will recognize Earth's independence. We will not attack you. You will not attack us. And any species that wishes to leave the coalition may do so under our protection. His black eyes went wide. That would destroy the coalition. Dozens of species would leave immediately. Perhaps, but that is their choice to make. Freedom is not ours to give. We can only protect those who seek it. You would go to war for species you've never met. Admiral nodded. We went to war for ourselves because you gave us no choice. Now we choose to stand for others, because that is who we want to be. Elder watched this exchange through a secure transmission. He saw something in the human admiral's eyes that he had not seen in 50,000 years of coalition politics. Sincerity. Accept their terms, told his fellow leaders. We have no choice. Fight them and we will lose everything. Accept this compromise and we may preserve something. The Galactic Accord was signed 3 months later. The coalition did not die, but it shrank. 17 species declared independence in the first year. Human ships patrolled the borders, protecting the newly free worlds from coalition retaliation. It was not perfect. There were skirmishes, incidents, species that did not trust humans any more than they had trusted the coalition. But slowly, something new grew. Trade routes that had been closed for centuries reopened. Scientific knowledge began to flow freely. Species that had never spoken began to communicate. 5 years after the Battle of Earth, Admiral stood on a stage at the first Galactic Peace Summit. She was an admiral now like before her. Gray had appeared in her hair. Lines had formed around her eyes, but her voice was strong. 5 years ago, the galaxy sent a fleet to exterminate humanity. They thought we were weak. They thought we would bow. They were wrong. She looked at the assembled beings. Hundreds of species, some former enemies, some new friends. But we did not fight for revenge. We did not fight for empire. We fought for our right to exist. And now we fight for the rights of others, not because we are saints, not because we are perfect, but because we know what it feels like to face extinction. We know the terror of watching our children's future threatened. His voice grew soft. The galaxy learned a hard lesson when they came for Earth. They learned that humanity does not hold back, but I hope they learned something else too. That strength is not just about weapons and ships. It is about standing for something, protecting those who cannot protect themselves, choosing hope over fear. She raised her hand. We offer that choice to the galaxy. Stand with us, not beneath us. Build with us, not for us. The old way of empires and slaves is ending. Something new is being born. And we invite every species, every world, every being who dreams of freedom to help us create it. Sergeant watched from the crowd. His arm had never fully healed from the boarding action. He walked with a limp now, but he was smiling. Doctor stood beside him. She had returned to pure research, working with alien scientists to unlock secrets that had been hidden for. The things they were learning would change everything. "Do you think it will last?" she asked. "This peace?" Shrugged, "Nothing lasts forever, but we bought ourselves time. We earned respect. And if anyone threatens Earth again," he gestured to the sky where human warships patrolled endlessly, "we'll be ready." Ensign, now a commander herself, joined them. She had spent years learning new languages, building connections with species across the galaxy. She had become a bridge between worlds. "Admiral wants to see us," she said. "Something about a new mission, exploration, not combat." And exchanged glances. Exploration. The word tasted strange after so many years of war. "What are we exploring?" asked. Smiled. "The unknown. Beyond coalition space. Beyond anywhere anyone has ever been. Admiral says it's time for humanity to do what we do best." "What's that?" "Go where we're not supposed to. Touch what we're not supposed to touch. Ask questions no one has thought to ask." Laughed. It was a good laugh, free of the darkness that had haunted him for years. "That does sound like us." High above them, the Soul's Fury drifted in orbit. The old flagship had been repaired countless times, upgraded constantly, but never retired. It was a symbol now, a reminder of what humanity had faced and what they had overcome. Admiral had passed away peacefully 2 years ago. His last words had been simple: "Take care of them, all of them. The stars are ours now. Make sure we deserve them." On the bridge of the Soul's Fury, a new captain prepared for the ship's next mission. Not war, not defense, discovery. Earth hung in the viewport, green and blue and alive. The world that had nearly been destroyed. The world that had refused to die. Humanity had reached for the stars and found them full of danger. They had faced extinction and survived. They had been given every reason to become monsters and had chosen something different. The galaxy had wanted to teach humanity its place. Instead, humanity had taught the galaxy something new. That even the smallest light can drive back the darkness. That courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to act despite it. That freedom is worth any price. And that when you threaten humanity, when you push them to the edge, when you leave them no choice but to fight or die, they will not hold back. They will never hold back. The Soul's Fury engaged its engines and turned toward the unknown. Behind it, Earth continued to spin. Ahead, the stars waited. Humanity's story was just beginning.